Hey all, Craig Tomlin with Useful Usability. And I know there's been a lot of talk around AR and VR, and I certainly have seen a lot of that at last year's South by Southwest, and have been very interested in that. I actually have a VR headset, and I thought I'd just very briefly share with you some of the user interface elements of it, and then talk a little bit later in some other videos about usability testing, the overall user experience of VR, and then we'll talk about maybe the future of VR as well. So for those of you that already have a headset, you're probably already familiar with much of this, but for those of you that do not, here is mine. This happens to be one that is good for Samsung. It's the Gear VR from Oculus. And this is actually last year's model. This is the 2015 model, which is in white. And now this year's model, the 2016, is in black. And you'll see why. There's white on the inside, which if there's a lot of light, might throw some of that light around. And so the desire was to eliminate that, so they've gone to an all black case. In addition, with this model, the controls on the side, these are the touch controls. You'll see them right here. This is sensitive. You can actually swipe your fingers up and down, and there's a button here that is sensitive. So if you need to, for example, click a button inside a VR experience, you can do that. This is a home button up here, or a back button, and is sometimes used by some VR programs and sometimes not. There's also, as you can see here, a volume control. And this volume control will operate off of the device, the Samsung phone in this case. So the way this particular Samsung Gear VR works is you actually use your cell phone. So there's a cover. This is the cover plate here. You can see it. And if I go ahead and take that off, you'll see the optics, which is very important to not touch. You want to keep them pristine. One of the usability issues I've found is, this is my Samsung. I have a tendency to drop this quite often. So what I like to do is actually put a case on this. And the bad news is you can't actually put the two together. So this case has to come off for this to work. So what I need to do is show you how to actually load this with this case off. But a little bit of a usability issue. I mean, I want to be able to use my cell phone, right? And I want to use it in conjunction with this gear. Gee, it would have been kind of cool if there's a way I could just put it on with the case in place, but I can't. I have to take the case off. So let's do that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've taken the case. Here you can see the phone in its unprotected form. Makes me a little bit nervous, but it is going to actually be going into the headset. So let's go ahead and show you how that works. There are some plugs in here. You can see them. And they connect to the USB here. And so the way that works is you simply put it in like this, and then close it like that, and it's good to go. In the older model, and I think the newer one has fixed this, but in this older one, this plate doesn't, which is designed to keep your phone from being impacted by anybody touching it, doesn't really fit very well, at least for me, so I have a tendency to not use it. So now that it is actually in place, when you go ahead and put it on, what you will see inside is a menu that will instruct you how to get into the various programs. From a usability standpoint or perspective, this case is slightly narrower than the newer cases. So I have glasses. If you do too, this is a little bit narrower, and the new case is actually wider. So that makes it easier to fit on. And this is how it works. You just put it on this way. And then you have the straps, which you have to actually control and adjust as well. So a little bit awkward, as you can see, but once it's on, it can be adjusted. There is a control knob right here, and I'll take this off to show it to you, that allows you to focus. So if you are like me and you have glasses, you might have to focus this all the way to one side. If you're wearing contacts, you might be focusing at the other. And even when it is in focus, what you are going to see is some pixels, some little bit of dots coming from the actual phone itself. However, very quickly you're kind of transported into the world, the VR world, and wherever you look all around you, you can see the imagery. So this is the device, this is how it works. I thought you might want to see that. We're going to talk more about that in the next video, but that's the Samsung Gear VR plugged in with the Samsung, and so that gives you a sense of how it all works. You know, the nice thing about these is they really do work quite well. I will say that it really is, depending on the type of programming you look at, pretty impressive. And the fact that you can use your Samsung, your Galaxy, this one happens to be an S7, but the fact that you can actually use your phone means that this headset actually doesn't cost as much as, for example, an Oculus Rift or one of those that might be $400 or more. So this, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was actually a Christmas present, but this was, I believe, around $90, $95. And so for that kind of small investment, you can instantly get right into VR. So I highly recommend that you have a look at the Galaxy S6, S7 phones. If you happen to have one of those, that you can go ahead and for minimal investment, under $100, buy a Gear VR. And I think it's worth your time if you're into usability and UX that you understand what this VR world is. The other thing that I should mention with this particular headset is it uses your phone's adapter here for your headset. So in this case, I have these Sonys, and so what I need to do is actually take this plug and then plug it in to the unit here through this little port right there. Kind of hard to do, especially because I'm facing backwards. But once it's in, you do get a very nice sense of the audio, and with the full stereo and that kind of surround sound, it really does become a very immersive experience. So I recommend picking one of these up. Again, this was last year's model. The new ones are in black. They're a little bit wider. I recommend going to Amazon and checking it out. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and buy one and try them out. I think you're going to find the VR experience pretty interesting. I think most of the content right now is entertainment and gaming focused, but I think as time goes by, and when I say time, I mean 2017, getting into early 2018, you're going to see a lot more programming coming out for these. How will this work in the future? I don't know. This is very bulky and cumbersome. So my guess is as the future goes by, there will be a way to reduce some of this bulk and this cumbersome, and hopefully go to something that's more like a glasses type of experience that allows you to be immersive in there. So there you go. I think it's worth trying out. I'll put up some links in my blog where you can go and check out some of my recommendations for a Gear VR, especially if you're a Samsung owner. And I'll put a couple other recommendations for some VR sets in case you're not. So thanks again for watching. Craig Tomlin with usefulusability.com, and I'll see you next time. Take care.